what made you feel like it was safe for you to kind of leave your comfort zone?
Well, it didn't feel safe at all, but I knew that I wanted to have my own practice, and I knew that I wanted to give people a different level of care than they were currently getting.
How do you choose someone to add on to your team? Like, what are you looking for?
It's kind of a mixture of background and experience, but also personality. You know, when you sit in an interview with somebody and you ask questions, you can kind of get a feel for their personality.
How do you overcome your fear to make those leaps and make decisions, that are scary?
I just do them. At some point, you just have to say, like you said, if you're not afraid of it, it's not worth doing. If you're not investing back into it and spending the money, you're not going to flourish on the back end.
Yeah.
So I just kind of had to say, okay. I mean, it kind of worked out with the full-time job that I was at and leaving there, and it kind of pushed me into, okay, it's time. You gotta do this.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of the Get There podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Kline, and I have a very special guest today. I will actually say not only did she change my life, but she actually saved my life, too. And we'll get a little more on that later in the show. But I have the lovely Tamara Edelstein-Snider with me with Trident Healthcare. I've actually known Tamara now, 3.5 years, 4
Something
years.
like that, yep.
She has an amazing healthcare practice. I've watched her grow, and I just think she's like the greatest guest to have, just to kind of show that scaling your business and taking a leap of faith in yourself too. So without further ado, I'm going to have Tamara introduce herself and tell a little bit about herself, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I've been in the medical field for about 23 years. I started as a firefighter paramedic for Brevard County Fire Rescue.
Amazing.
I worked with them for 11, 12 years. I went back to school for nursing.
Okay.
Did that for 4 or 5 years. Then went back to school again to get my nurse practitioner.
Perfect. I love it. And I think that's even when we first met. This is how much I love Tamara. I used to drive all the way to Port St. John to see her. It's a funny story, and we'll just kind of talk about it too, is she kind of got on with a practice that was doing the GLP-1, semaglutide shots for weight loss about 3 years ago. And that's where I met her there. And when you were there, you were going to school full time, because I remember talking with you. You were kind of making your plans of how you were going to be transitioning. So I just saw you working super duper hard at your dreams and going for what you wanted to do. And then I remember one day you're like, I'm going to go on my own. So tell me a little bit about that. Were you just kind of knowing like that was going to be a huge thing and that it was going to be, something you wanted to make a move on? Like, what made you feel like it was safe for you to kind of leave your comfort zone?
Well, it didn't feel safe at all.
Okay.
But I knew that I wanted to have my own practice, and I knew that I wanted to give people a different level of care than they were currently getting.
Yeah.
I mean, included me at my job, because I didn't have the time to spend with the patients that I wanted to spend. So it was more of like, get them in, get them out, get them through. And I don't think that's how healthcare should be. I feel like it should be definitely more personal, and having that relationship and that one-on-one time, even after you address the medical issues, to just kind of chit chat. Everything going good? Any recent vacations, things like that. So you're actually interacting, and it's not just that, okay, get you in, what's going on, get you out.
I love that so much, because it truly is, in a world where we have a million choices, and healthcare being one, it feels like in the medical field, when you go to doctors, that you don't have a choice. Okay, I'm going to send you here. I'm going to go here. And it is very procedural, and maybe because it's like the scientific and medical field, but I like to go to people that I enjoy their company and that make me feel good and that do take the time to get to know me as a human being. So just the fact that that is where your heart is for your patients says a lot about you. And I think I felt that about you from day one. So super commendable, because I do think you do a really great job. Not only you, but the staff you're choosing in your practices is super important too. I'm on a first name basis with all of them. I'm like Facebook friends with them. Mm-hmm. So you are doing a really good job even on your team members and being selective of that. So maybe let's touch on that really quick. How do you choose someone to add on to your team? Like, what are you looking for in someone?
It's kind of a mixture of background and experience, but also personality. You know, when you sit in an interview with somebody and you ask questions, you can kind of get a feel for their personality. And then it's also that good old gut feeling.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they're going to mesh with everybody? Do you feel like they're going to be a good fit? You know, that's huge for me because, like you said, I want everybody in the office to have the same beliefs about patient care that I do. Because if they don't have the same beliefs, then they're not using the same standard of care that I'm using. So I want everybody at that same level or higher. So
I love that. And that's one of the hardest things when you're taking it from, you know what you can do, but then having faith in other people to do what you would do integrity wise or, you know, patient care wise. Right. And having the faith in them to do that, because it's really hard. You know, most people who are A personalities, who are opening practices, it's really hard to give away that power and give it to someone else and trust that they're going to do it. And at some point, you just have to, you know, give it away and give it to God, and then know that you do what you can to try to assist them and teach them as you go, like, okay, well, what made you think of doing it this way? This is how I would handle it. What were your thoughts? So I think that's super important. But also, like with team members, I think the feeling of do they fit is huge. It's funny because I opened my mortgage company 2 years ago, and it's like, oh, it seems like a lot of people have come and gone, but honestly, it's people who just didn't fit. So I always say I'm quick to hire, or slow to hire, quick to fire, and because you really just know quickly if it's not going to be a right fit or not. Usually, for me, it's usually within a month or two of like, hey, this isn't what my expectation was, because I do feel like people put an awesome face forward in an interview.
Right.
And then I actually had one kid, and he was amazing. He said everything I wanted to hear in his interview. Like, he was a professional job interviewer, because his very first day while he is shadowing someone, he is literally on his phone, not even paying attention, not even doing anything. I walked past like three times.
Like,
and I was like, okay, we're not even, if he can't even wait a day to get on his phone, like, we're done. You're not a right fit here. So it's crazy of finding someone. It's so hard in today's market.
And somebody who will actually show up on time and do the job that they're getting paid to do.
And care about it.
Because
the wrong person, too, can just set the tone in the office. One negative person can just change the whole trajectory, and it spreads to others. So
it's like a cancer.
Exactly. You got to eliminate it as quickly as possible.
Cut the cancer out.
So I know that you're opening a second location.
Yes.
And just so you kind of have a background on Tamara from just her whole transition, it's absolutely fabulous. As I'm writing the questions, I was super excited because I've seen her just flourish. So she was actually at another medical practice were you a nurse practitioner? Or just,
yep, I was there for about 4.5 years.
So 4.5 years there, watching her go back to school for what she needed to kind of branch out on her own. Then she moved to what kind of doctor was that you moved into?
So I was subletting from a podiatrist. Yes. When I first opened, I was only open 3 days a week.
Yep.
And I literally started with just myself. Yep. I was doing everything, answering the phones, building our electronic charting system, doing the appointments, do everything.
The non-glamorous stuff that it takes. And then, so just to see you go from, this a little, and not for lack of a better term, but like a hole-in-the-wall doctor's office.
Right, that I was only there 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I was there full-time.
Yes.
But when I moved from there to open my own practice, it was 3 days a week.
Exactly. Seeing the podiatrist office, which was great, and it was a great location. I know it worked out much better for me. Right. Because it was right down the street.
It was what I needed at that point.
Exactly. Worked perfect. And then now having your beautiful office that you have now in Vieira, it's absolutely gorgeous. Every time I walk in there, I'm like, it's so pretty in here. It's just like a seaside cottage.
Yes.
And then now you have a new location opening. Where's that location at? And can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's going to be in Satellite Beach. It's right on A1A.
Perfect.
We just built the building, or just bought the building, and it's being completely remodeled.
Good.
We're just about to start the building phase on the inside, so it was all demoed. We took down tons of shrubbery and trees. You couldn't even see the building from the road.
Yeah.
and we just got a new roof on, and there's a lot coming.
That's
down
exciting.
the pipe.
I love all of that. I just bought
Yes.
my own building for my office, and I'm going through that. So it's like nerve-wracking and exciting. But I love to hear that you're investing in real estate, because I'm a big proponent, especially if you're going to be paying rent somewhere, you might as well be paying
Might as
yourself.
well own it.
Exactly. So kudos to you and congratulations. I love that.
Thank you.
So that's in Satellite Beach. So when do you think you'll be opening that second location? What are your...
We're hoping August or September.
Oh, so quickly. I mean...
You know how
it'll all go
construction
great.
goes,
I
yes.
know it. And you'll do a beautiful job. So I can't wait to see that. So kind of just going on, and I do have some questions. So as far as like overcoming your fear to make the move, because I feel like that's what holds so many people back, is just taking that leap of faith in yourself to know that you can do that, whatever you want to do, and set your mind to it. What was the main thing for you that just... Because to me, if you're not scared and it's not scary, it's not going to be awesome. So I always know it's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So how do you overcome your fear to make those leaps and make decisions, that are scary?
I just do them. You, at some point, you just have to say, like you said, if you're not afraid of it, it's not worth doing. And if you're not investing back into it and spending the money, you're not going to flourish on the back end. Yeah. So I just kind of had to say, okay. I mean, it kind of worked out with the full-time job that I was at and leaving there, and it kind of pushed me into, okay, it's time. You got to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
Not
have anything
should
to fall.
I have to make this happen. And I think that is such a good mindset. You got to get out of that comfort zone. You actually just made a super good point on what you said, is investing back into your business. I feel like that's what most people fail to do. They like make the money, but don't think about the future of, where do you want to see your business going, and investing in yourself, whether it be, expanding and scaling your business, whether it be on training to get better at your craft, whatever it is, you need to invest in yourself, and you need to invest in your people and your business and all of that good stuff, which I know that you do. So with expanding on, what do you think, is there fear in adding additional locations and thinking, are you going to have the patient,
Of course.
Workload
all of that
to
is
do all
there.
that?
Second location, it's like, okay, how am I going to staff this? Are we going to have the patient flow that we're hoping that we'll have? Are people going to come? Just everything.
The craziness.
Because it's a whole new starting from the ground.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of our patients do travel from beachside to mainland to come to the office, so a lot of them will easily transition to the beachside location, but it's still pulling in that new clientele from beaches and, Merritt Island, if it's closer to go that way. And just, it's scary.
Yeah.
And I'm just, okay, just got to do it. Have faith in the process, and hopefully it'll turn out.
Because really, without doing, you're failing because you're not doing anything. And then it's like, if it's meant to be, it's going to work out. And I always say, what's the worst thing? It doesn't work out. And then I'm back to where I was. So
exactly.
And then have learned all of these things along the way. So it's perfect.
And I think it's going to be good also because the type of practice that I have, encompassing the primary care, psychiatry, weight loss, and having the in-house mental health provider, the counselors, is a practice that's not like any other practice in Brevard.
I love that.
So it's kind of, it's definitely a specialty, and mental health is such a thing in Brevard, and it's so underserved, and having that to offer beachside is huge as well, because there isn't a whole lot of resources beachside.
Yeah. There isn't. It's definitely an untapped market, but I love, because I actually didn't know that's what you were doing with this new location.
Well, that's what we do at the other one too.
Oh,
we have all three.
So I love that, because truly, if you are taking care of a patient, you should be taking care of them like mind, body, soul, health, like you're taking care of everything. And I think that is where it's the issue of, like, you see your primary care, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to send you over here. I'm going to send you over here. And you're always seeing different people who aren't communicating with each other either, and discussing a patient's overall health issues. So I love that that's what you're doing. I honestly don't think anyone's doing that. So
no.
I love it. And then so Tamara's pretty much taken over all of my care. And I don't think you understand what you did for me. Last year I was going through a very difficult time. I had surgery. I have some major complications, and the doctor that I was under care just completely dropped the ball. Tamara, while every other doctor locally was like not wanting to touch me, she stepped in, took care of me. I mean, I would text her, whether it be like, oh my God, what is this? This is happening now.
I'm freaking out. I need you to help me calm me down, please.
So you literally did take care of me. You got me through one of the darkest times, and I was super scared because I was like not knowing what was going to happen to me. And the fact that you stepped up, took care of me, I'm forever grateful. I will forever sing your praises. And I know for a fact that you do everything you're speaking to right now because it's happened to me firsthand. So thank you. Don't want to get a little emotional because it makes me emotional because it was that dark of a time for me. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Of course.
And anyone would
And that's what I love doing.
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah. And so you have to call Tamara. You won't be disappointed. So, okay. So
and we take all the insurances.
Perfect. I know, because you take mine and mine's like a crappy self-employed insurance company.
Yes. So we try to make that available to everybody. So that's why we're on pretty much every single insurance panel.
Perfect.
For both the primary care side and the psychiatry side.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. So I want to kind of go back talking like business talk as far as like scaling. So what did that look like for you, as in like how did you know when you needed to add people onto your team? Because I think that's where people get stuck between a rock and a hard place, and it's even almost getting, investing back in your business. But I know there's been times with me where, okay, I had one employee, but I was getting busier where I knew I needed to add another person, but I couldn't quite yet afford it. But I knew, okay, if I add them on, it's going to help me generate even more business. So how did you overcome that? And for me, that's what it was. It was like, okay, we're going to cash in a 401k and just make it happen. Like I'm going to have this person's salary covered so I could make that transition, and just kind of knowing when you need to add someone in. So what is that like process, looking at scaling whether it be through employees, moving locations, like how are you looking at your business to know it's time?
Well, with starting just myself and doing everything myself, it was, okay, I've got so many patients now and I'm doing everything, and I'm coming in at 4:30 in the morning to get things ready to start seeing patients at 7 o'clock and staying until 6:30 at night. It's like, okay, it's time to add somebody. Yeah. And then as my schedules fill up, I add somebody, and then when it starts getting time, like, okay, people are having to wait a couple weeks to get in because schedules are full. Then it's, okay, got to take that step, bring somebody else in, and spread the wealth across different providers so that people can get in. And that's one of the other things that I find is really important is if I'm somebody's primary caregiver and they call and they're sick, I want them to be able to come in that day. I don't want to have to send people to urgent care because they don't know their history, and they don't know that they go super nuts on steroids and they give them steroids, and then I'm getting a phone call, well, they gave me steroids and I'm just a total bitch and super ornery and nasty, and I'd rather them be able to come to me. Yeah. And if they can't come to me because my schedule is too full, then it's okay, it's time for me to bring somebody else in because I'm not able to see the patients that I need to see in the time I need to see them. Yeah, absolutely. And it's about keeping that level of care too, because if you don't, then that's what starts happening is your current clientele gets unhappy. So you want to be able to maintain that level of service, and what's great is then it's going to allow you to continue to grow. So it's a twofold telling you, oh, my business is growing, this is awesome, and then I want to make sure it continues to grow. So knowing you need to add people on. Yep. Well, perfect. So what activities did you do? I would say let's actually talk about it as far as what do you do for marketing? Like how do people know about Trident Healthcare? Like how are you getting your name out there? For the first, I would say year to year and a half, I didn't do any marketing. And my name just got out there by word of mouth because of the type of care that I was providing, and that people were happy with the results with the weight loss, and that we charge a fair price and we're not kicking it up super high to make an extraordinary profit off it. We're making a profit, but we're also pricing it at a price point that everybody can afford. Yeah. So that brought in a lot of business, and then just this person telling this person, and that person's happy, and then, just growing and growing and growing. Yeah. I'd really like to get more into social media advertising because I'm not really good at it and I don't have time for it. Yeah. But
You have some good young girls on your staff, though,
I
that
know.
could be doing some awesome
yes.
things and you could do so many funny things. So you need to get those, add this to your job description, social media.
Social media manager.
Yes.
Yes.
I know that's my daughter's mine, so she gets stuck with all of those things too. For word of mouth, I definitely think, I know that's how I heard about you, and I actually saw someone and she was like talking about her weight loss journey on social media. So I messaged her. I was like, girl, you look great. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm on semaglutide. And that was the first time I'd ever heard about it. So I was like, oh, and she's like, yeah. She's like, I've tried so many things to try to lose weight, and like this is working, and that's always been my struggle, and I'm a girl who likes to eat too, so.
Right.
So Absolutely. There's that. So like I immediately reached out to you because she sung your praises, and then I just was like committed to making it work, and I saw results quickly. It was so crazy because when I first started, it wasn't like I was really like losing pounds, but you guys like do the measurements and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, my arms are like a half an inch smaller, and it's been 2 weeks. Like, that's crazy. So really seeing it, and then just really like, after like 3 months, that was it. I was like, wow, this is like a miracle drug, and that's what I think it is. So I started sharing it, and anyone that would talk to me, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm doing this weight loss shot. It's awesome. Like,
and you are one of our biggest, yes,
right now.
Yes, absolutely.
So we were talking in the lobby that I wanted to chat with you about that. Is I do feel like, because I'm a sharer of anything that I do. If it works for me, I want everybody to know about it. And if I can sing its praises, it's because I've actually done it and it's worked for me. And I found, like, as I openly talk about it, or I hear people, because you can obviously tell when someone is on the weight loss shot, because it happens rapidly and quickly. So you could see someone, and then 3 months later, they're a completely different person.
You're like half a person. You're like, whoa.
Exactly.
What have you been doing?
And a lot of women would just not want to admit that that's what they're doing, or just say, oh, yeah, I remember hearing one girl, and she's like, yeah, I'm just like gluten-free. And I'm like eye rolling the whole time. Like, I commit you are doing the shot, because we all know that's what it is. Why do you feel like there is like this stigma? I think it's with anything, like getting Botox, anything cosmetic. Like, there's such a stigma for women that do something extra and whether quote unquote not be natural. Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. Yeah. And I think it's horrible. And I think that, yes, a lot of my patients are nervous about telling people, and they're secretive about telling people because they don't want to be judged for whatever reason. I don't know why people judge so much about somebody else's decision about their health, because it's about what you think is best for you, not what so-and-so and so-and-so thinks what's best for you.
Yeah.
And if you make that choice, that should be your choice. And, if you want to go through with it, not have anybody
do it. Exactly. I think that is exactly it is. I think people are worried about what other people think, or that they're going to be judged because they're doing that. But to me, it's like, own it. And to me, I want to tell everybody, like, hey, if you like the way I look, this is
how you get to it,
like,
right?
Yeah, like, here you go. So,
and it's got so many other benefits besides just the weight loss, and they continue to do studies about how it's good for mental health, and how it helps to stabilize hormones with menopause, and it helps with hormones for thyroid disease, and it helps with memory. Addiction, all of that stuff. So there's so many other benefits to it than just the weight loss. If you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're unhappy with what you see, your mood that day is going to be blah, because you don't like what you see, versus you wake up in the morning, you're happy, your clothes fit, you have this great attitude, then that sets the tone for a wonderful day. And who wouldn't want to feel that way every single day?
Okay, that's like a mic drop, because that's one of the things that I talk about. And you do feel great when you look great and you feel good about yourself. That transcends so much, and it's a lot of just how you put yourself out there in the world. Actually, just went to a sales training, and I usually tell people anytime, and they're like, well, what do you do to be successful? I get up every single day. I put my face of makeup on. I do my hair. I look cute, because that's what makes me feel good. When I can present myself out there and I feel confident when I'm talking with people, like, I know I can go conquer anything because I feel good, because I feel good about the way I look. So to me, it does set the tone for your whole day. I actually had an employee, and she works from home, so a lot of times she's like in her pajamas, she's got her hair in a bun, and and not saying anything, but a lot of times she like struggles. I think just because she's not with the team every single day in the office and she's kind of isolated, but it's also like she's probably not feeling her best. And I said, you need to do something for yourself. You're not doing anything. You're getting out of bed, you're going right into work, you're leaving work, off the computer, and then you're probably just going right to your couch. You're not doing anything for yourself at that point in time. She has a very demanding family, so then she's probably going and working with them. And I'm like, do yourself a favor, get up, do your hair, put makeup on.
Take a shower.
Get clothes on, and then come to your desk. And we actually had a meeting in January, and she's like, Jen, that was the best advice you could have given me, because she's like, I'm doing it, and I know I feel so great that even I can tell the difference in the days that I don't, how my work performance is and what my attitude is. So thank you for giving that advice, because truly I know it's what helps me, and I know if I don't look good, when you meet someone and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have my makeup on, or, my hair's not done, and they're like apologizing for that. But it is true, like you don't feel good, and if you run into someone, you're like, oh
my gosh.
Exactly. So I think that's super duper important, as just feeling good about yourself for sure.
Yep.
So what was like a pivotal moment for you? Can you tell me just anything that you can think of like along your journey that even, let's just even say, made you like change your course? Because I think that's a lot of things, is people feel like if it doesn't go as planned, that, okay, then I'm like done. Like it's not going the way that I want. But I'm definitely it's the journey, not the destination kind of person. Mm-hmm. So can you give any type of example where you were like on a trajectory and for whatever reason, and it could be anything with the building, with,
Well, we were trying to purchase a location in Suntree, and while we were renting the one in Suntree, and that actually fell through. And I was just devastated. I'm like, oh, this would have been a perfect location. It was going to be great. I had all these plans in my head.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't work out. So I'm like, okay, well, just keep on trucking forward. This is because something else is out there. And then we hooked up with our realtor, and he got us this amazing property beachside right on A1A, which is a godsend.
Yeah.
Had we had bought the property in Suntree, we would have never been able to buy the property beachside. And I feel like having the property beachside is going to be much more beneficial to the healthcare community, because there is such a lack of healthcare beachside. Then it would have been beneficial owning our own spot in Suntree, because we already have a spot in Suntree.
Yeah.
It was just trying to purchase one, but
it worked out better. And
yes.
that's the key thing, is I think that is a lot of times when something is going to change trajectories, it's usually for your greater good, and not, you just don't know it like when it happens in that disappointment, but later on you find out why. Because exactly, it's leading you to two locations, not just one in the same area we're at. Obviously, it's probably a better financial situation, as, obviously real estate beachside is a whole lot
yes,
more
absolutely.
desirable.
Especially on A1A.
Exactly, in Suntree. And the fact that in that area where you're at in Suntree, Viera, there's a lot of medical. There's a lot of that already there, where beachside there, like you said, that there's a need there. So
yep.
I think it worked out perfect for you. I have a story I just want to share, because it was even like my real estate purchase. I knew I wanted to invest in real estate and not pay someone else's mortgage for my office. So I'd actually made an offer on a property. I didn't even want it. I just knew I wanted to buy something. And this property had been listed for sale for like 11 months with no offers.
With nothing.
At the same exact time, I put my offer in. Magically, they have another offer, and I'm bidding against someone else. And I was like, really? So I didn't believe them. And I'm like, nah, like I'm done. That's my best and final.
Yep.
So someone else got it. Well, what it did, I really wanted to be in downtown Melbourne, and where that led me was to my building I bought in downtown Melbourne. So I hire my contractor, and we're in my office, like making plans for everything. And he turns to me and he's like, I am under contract to buy a commercial building. And I was like, oh, really? Where? Like, that's so exciting. And he's like, oh, like right on US 1. It was literally the building I was bidding against him. And I'm like, what a full circle moment and it just let me know, like, everything happens for a reason, and it worked out exactly the way that it needed to be. He gets his property that he wants that works way better for him, and I ended up with exactly what I wanted. So it was just, the universe is always working in your favor, even though you don't understand it at that point in time. So
I call them little speed bumps.
Exactly.
Just drive over the speed bump like you do in your car, and then you'll hit the flat road again.
I love that analogy.
Yep.
I like the bumps for sure. So what do you feel, and I know you as in like continue your education and going forward, what's a time or something that you did or that you're doing right now that you feel like a beginner, like you've never done it before and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing?
Being a business owner, being a manager of employees, and trying to manage that I'm your boss and I own this practice, but I also want to have somewhat of a friendship with you.
It's so hard to
and
balance.
Trying to find that fine line between the two is very hard. And, some days when staff is upset with you because you're trying to make them accountable for things, you get kind of that pushback, and it hurts on the friend side because you're like, well, I can't believe they're treating me like this. But then you have to take a step back and think about it from a different angle. Okay, well, this person's upset at boss Tamara, not upset at friend Tamara.
Yeah.
And they're upset at me because I am making them accountable for something that they're not doing right. And it's not anything that I have done to hurt them personally, but it's what I have to do as the owner of the business to make sure that everything still runs right and that people are showing up to work on time and they're doing what they're supposed to do and not sitting around just because we're slow and having social hour, things like that.
Yeah.
So, and people don't like it when you kind of redirect them and say, hey, I know we're slow, but there's always something to do.
What can we do to generate business? I'm so glad you're saying that because this is the life that I live, and it's good to hear I'm not the only one. And that's what I try to, like, I've never done this before. I don't know how to manage people. I don't know how to run a business. Like, I'm figuring it out as it goes. And I hope that they understand that as well, because I do feel like they're looking to you to have all the answers. And it's almost like a parent to a child. Like, your parents don't know. This is their first time living life too, Like, they can guide you the best that they can. And I do feel like it is hard because I want my staff to like me. I want them to enjoy coming to work every single day. And I want to be their friend, but they also... I need them to do what I need them to do.
And there has to be that level of respect.
Yes.
We respect our employees, but they have to respect us as well. And when that respect gets broken, then it's kind of like, okay, we got to tap the rudder and get you back in line. And remember, you're an employee. I'm the boss. I'm the employer. Let's...
Such a difficult task just because you don't want to build resentment if you do have to. Like, I don't ever want them feeling that way. So, but then I don't want to be one that just lets anything happen and then I'm the one holding the bag, because ultimately the work's got to get done. And if they're not doing it, it's got to fall on me.
Exactly.
So.
And that's where I'm lucky because, my husband Tom is the office manager.
Yeah.
And he's dealt with managing people his entire life in the police department.
Yeah.
So he manages a lot of that in the office.
That's good.
But when he's not there, it all falls on me. And those are really, really stressful weeks.
Yeah. Which I know you're going through this week with him being
Yeah,
out.
he was gone last week, all last week. So it was.
It's so crazy when someone is missing that you really do see, like, okay, like, I really do need them, like, they do bring a lot to the table for my team when they're not there, which is great. Like, you want people people want to feel important, and they want to feel important where they work too. So, but yes, I have someone out this week too, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes. Thank goodness it's Friday.
I know. All right. So how many people do you have on your team now? Like, so you went from solo. What does your office look like now if I go to Trident Healthcare?
So went from just being me to now we have 10 employees.
Awesome.
And that includes myself and Tom, my husband.
Yep, I love it. So, I remember when I first started, it was just Tom at the front desk. Then there was one other girl at the front desk with him, and now there was 3 when I came in the other day to see you. So I was like, I love this so much. So, all right, perfect. Well, what do you think activities that you did from the beginning? Like, what did you do to kind of keep yourself motivated to keep going, continuing motivated to go to school and continue to get better? Because I do feel like it's almost like New Year's resolutions. When people don't see things happen quickly, they get demotivated to continue on. And you can just see it in like New Year's resolutions and things of that nature. I know I'm already failing on mine, some of them anyway. But for you, what did you do from the beginning that you continue to do, and like what advice would you give for that for people to stay motivated to keep going?
Just keep doing the education.
Yeah.
And go as much as you can. Keep learning. Keep doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
I love taking care of people. That's my thing. So I just kept going and going and going. I mean, now I'm at a point where I don't want to go back to school. I don't need any more of that. I have to do enough continuing education, and I do take a lot of online classes, refreshers, stay up to date with all that stuff.
Yeah, that's super important.
It's always about continuous learning. When you stop learning in your career, especially medical, you become outdated.
Yeah.
Because you're not up to date with all the latest treatments, with all the latest guidelines, and that's so important to know, to be able to pass that on to your patients. Hey, you need to have this, this, and this done. Well, what do you mean? Well, this is what they recommend, and this is a new medication. We should change you to this because it's better for you by doing this, this, and this,
Yeah.
And if you don't know about new medications and new treatments, your patients get stuck in old treatment therapies, which may not be as healthy for them as new treatments are.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, to like stay educated. I think that's so important. I mean, just relating it to the the mortgage field is our guidelines change consistently. So I don't even say like if a question comes up and it's been a couple years since the issue has arrived, I'm like, well, let me find out if this is still an issue, or because everything changes so rapidly. Like I don't ever want to say no based on something that I knew was truth 3 years ago, because it very well could not be truth today. So I think that's super important, is not to get stuck in your ways. We were actually just talking about this with my aunt, and she had the same hairdresser for like 25 years, and her hair was just getting like
Blah.
straw and very fried. And it just so happened that her hairdresser like broke her knee and she had to go on like a medical leave. So she ended up seeing another hairdresser who was like, okay, like we got to fix your hair. These are the things that we need to do. Her hair has completely transformed. And I think it's just because that original hairdresser was still using techniques from 30 years ago and not staying up to date when there's so many things that have changed, and we know way more and so many advancements that you have to stay on the top of your game. Because you don't, not only that, like even just in real estate, talking like, oh, you'll see a real estate agent, they're like, I've been doing this for 30 years, and that what that lets me know is this is going to be the worst transaction ever, because they are going to think they know everything and they know
And they don't.
absolutely nothing. So definitely staying on top of your game and continuing to be educated. I don't want people to think though that I came from a school of thought of, educate. You don't need an education to be successful though. As far as, if you want to be a nurse, obviously you have to go to education for that. But I was actually a high school dropout, and the last grade I completed was 8th grade. I dropped out of 9th grade as soon as I turned 16. I did go on later because it was just pushed that you needed education. I actually went on and got a master's degree. But as I got into the work field, anything that I ever had the capability of making incredible money, I did not need an education to do. It was having the drive, the hustle, the get up and go every single day. And that's what I try to stress to people, is it doesn't matter as long as you know and you believe in yourself and you get up and you say like, I can do this and I'm going to do it, and just keep that going every day. To me, I feel like that's the best thing, and it can only come from you. I remember when I first started, and I had other branch managers call me like, hey, usually I don't hire new loan officers, but you are coming out and you're so impressive. I said, it has nothing to do with loans. It's the person. Does the person have the drive and the momentum to keep it going? That's what it boils down to. So even talking about staff coming on board, that's what I look for. People who are go-getters that want to do and have that desire to do. So
Yes. Who have that same mentality.
Exactly. Super duper important. So, well, I am so glad you joined me today.
Thank you. It
Do
was
you
fun.
I loved it so much. And again, thank you for everything you did for me. Tamara can be reached at Trident Healthcare. They have a location in the Suntree area now. Where is it located at?
We're Baytree and Wickham.
Yeah, by Metro Diner.
Behind Metro Diner,
yes. I love Metro Diner. They have shrimp and grits, which is delicious.
They have an amazing chicken salad, too.
They do. I love that place.
Yes.
So they're right behind there, so you can go see her, make an appointment. It is specialized care, I'm telling you. I can text her. Not sure if she does that for everybody else, so I probably shouldn't say that.
Yes.
But her staff is amazing too. It changed my life, and like I said, not only changed my life through weight loss, but helped me through one of my most difficult times, and she'll do the same for you. I absolutely know it. So if you're looking for a new provider, she is definitely the one to call, and thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
I had the best time.
Yes, it was fun. My first podcast in the books. Check.
I love it. You did great. You did great.